Hi everyone, Alaska here, and I have chapter 4 for you for 27009, and this is going to be in Layla's point of view. Let's see, I'll pull it up for you. Okay, here we go. Chapter 4, Layla. I didn't think my smile could get any bigger as me and Amir posed for the tourist who offered to take our picture. With his arm around me, my brother leaned in closer, squeezing my shoulder with as much enthusiasm as I felt. This was it. What I had been waiting months for. We were standing right next to the rope surrounding Zeus's temple, and although I doubted with its colossal size a speck would be visible, that didn't matter to me. It was the freedom and the memory that I cherished. This moment, for some reason, would be one I looked back on, and I knew it was going to define something big. I couldn't explain the feeling, but I didn't care to try. I was happy, he was happy, and that was all that mattered. Great pictures! The older man lowered my phone and headed back toward us. Amir's arm dropped, but he grabbed my hand as we met the stranger halfway. He threw us a grin, walking off as me and my brother looked through the photos. Tears burned my eyes as I stared down at us. My stomach turned and I couldn't shake the odd sensations of something being off. It was ridiculous, but it was there nonetheless. What is it, Layla? Aren't you happy? I sniffled, laughing and wiping my hand across one of my eyes before the wetness could trail down my cheek. Yes, very much so. I wasn't sure if this would happen. I thought... Amir pulled me into his arms, giving me a hug. You don't have to stay anymore. We're here now and the rest of the trip is me and you. Whatever you want. Jessa's not going to like that. Putting his arm back around me, Amir led us to the tree-lined surrounding of the large open space. White chairs and small tables rested along a small section of the border, and we took a seat. Anger shadowed his face only for a moment before he started talking. I keep replaying how we left things. Jessa. She said something to me before she stormed off. She said you ruined everything. His head shook as his face hardened. It was unacceptable and opened my eyes. Your presence doesn't ruin Layla, it enhances. It brightens and livens. When I'm mad or I'm upset, you're there for me. You make me laugh. You reassure me everything is going to be okay. You're more than my sister, you're my other half. For her to say such hateful words, I almost couldn't believe she was the same person I fell for. She doesn't accept you, and that's fine because I don't accept her, and that's the end of it. The sympathetic look crossed my face. She never deserved you. I'm not sure anyone ever will. He laughed and we both grew silent, lounging in the chairs. The constant vibrations from Amir's phone didn't get mentioned, and I didn't even look over when he took it out, turned it off, and placed it in my purse, which was sitting on this tiny square table between us. Time passed and the tourist came and went. I was so content I barely realized when Amir cursed and sat up straight. What is it? Before I could finish the last word, a tall, built figure grabbed my attention from a good distance away. He walked like a god, all purpose and domination, even if it was his normal walk as he headed past us toward the temple. Travis didn't look in our direction. He had his phone up, taking pictures. Despite the confliction over my feelings, I couldn't deny how attractive he was. His upper body was thick with muscle, yet his waist was lean. In the baseball cap, I almost hadn't recognized him. It looked good covering his blonde hair. It oddly added more mystery and made him even more appealing. We should go. I glanced toward my brother, detecting his irritation. Why should we go? Does seeing him upset you so much? He doesn't even know we're here. Amir's lips twisted. And I don't want him to. I don't like him. Because he likes me? A look was thrown my way, but he went back to watching Travis. He's too old for you, Layla. I don't know. When he's close, I get this feeling. It makes my skin crawl. There's something about him. You know I don't go looking for fights, but with him, just the sight of his face makes me want to fucking... Amir, I gasped at his language and rage tightening his features. His fists were clenched and turning white. My brother rarely got upset, but when he did, he had a temper. We both did. I can't help it. I never want to be around him again. Let's just get out of here. I stood as Amir did, taking his hand. He clutched so tightly it bordered pain. It was almost as if if he let me go, I would disappear forever. Don't look at him, he said under his breath. If he notices us, I don't want to give him a reason to come over. Did you forget I said yes to dinner? I canceled it for you. My feet dug in and I came to a stop. I understand you're concerned, but it wasn't your place to cancel. It was my place. He's not good for you. Travis Sloane. Well, well, I didn't expect to see you both here. Travis's voice coming up from behind us had my brother's eyes closing. A deep inhale lifted his broad chest, and slowly Amir's lids rose. The expression he wore had my hand squeezing his in a silent warning. I stepped around my brother, throwing Travis a smile as he approached. We were just leaving, Amir cut in, turning. It's a beautiful place, enjoy. The tug on my hand had me petting resistance so I wouldn't be moved. I'm sorry, my brother's in a rush to get back. We were thinking of packing and finding another resort on one of the islands. I was actually gonna find you and tell you goodbye before we left. You're leaving? So soon? I'm afraid so. Probably before dinner, so I'm not gonna be able to make it to the rooftop. Thank you for the offer, though. It was very kind of you. Travis smiled, shrugging. It would have been nice to have a good conversation with a beautiful woman. I'm sorry I'll miss your company. Maybe. His words trailed off as two men approached. Their shirts were bright, and I immediately recognized them as the two men from the pool. The Hawaiian patterns were unmistakable. One man was average size, although thick in appearance, and the other was short, with shaggy brown hair tamed down with a fedora. The more I looked at him, the more I had to stare. Something was off. Short was my first impression, but the closer the two got, the fact only cemented even more. This person was just a little shorter than me, but flawless in appearance. The face was like porcelain, and the features almost not quite fitting for a man. I'm sorry, Travis said, still stalling as he stared in bewilderment at the men. I should probably let the two of you go. You were leaving, weren't you? No one spoke as the two got within feet of us. The shorter one had his head cocked to the side. Big blue eyes searched Travis's face, and like an evil I'd never felt before, I nearly shuddered as the mouth peeled back into a big smile to expose straight white teeth. Man, woman, my mind couldn't register what I was looking at. Can we help you? At Travis's question, the taller one's hand came out. Yes, thank you. We were wondering if you wouldn't mind taking our picture in front of the temple. Oh, sure. Well, we were all just saying goodbye anyway. Travis was stiff, and his voice was deeper than I could remember hearing. Amir tugged my hand again, and this time I let him inch us away. It was nice meeting you, Travis. Maybe we'll run into each other again. I'm sure we will. Take care, Layla. He waved as he began walking off with the men. Amir immediately increased our pace. Over and over, he looked over his shoulder, keeping quiet until we were immersed back into the busy streets. What the hell was that about? Did you get the impression they knew each other? I could barely breathe around the three of them. Amir took another glance behind us. Fuck, I don't like this. I don't know. Let's get our stuff and get the hell out of here. It was odd, wasn't it? I let the appearance of the smaller man come back. I was a little scared too. That smile. The small man, I didn't like him. Him. Amir gave me a wild look. It was the bigger one I couldn't stop staring at. He looked ready to attack Travis. They had to have known each other. Or maybe they're all just crazy, in which case I'm glad we're getting the hell away from here. I laughed as we slowed. I guess we really should find a new resort. Once we get back to the room, I'll look into different places we can stay. Sounds good to me. I'll let Jessica know that we're checking out. I shouldn't after how she behaved, but it would be the decent thing to do. I agree. Maybe warn her to steer clear of them too. At Amir's nod, we grew quiet for the rest of the walk. Over and over I replayed the events, glad we could finally move past Travis and Jessa and start our vacation anew. When we entered the hotel, the buzz added to the fuzziness of my thoughts, and we both let out deep sighs when we entered our room. But comfort didn't come. A knock had both of us pausing in the middle of the small living area. I'll get that. Heading to the door, Amir stopped to glance at me before cautiously opening it. My heart leapt in my chest at the possibility of who it could be, but my fear subsided the moment Jessica came into view. Her shoulders were sunk in, and her head was slightly lowered. I came to apologize. Can we talk? We probably should. I need to talk to you too. As Amir stepped out and closed the barrier, I collapsed to the wicker sofa. Soft pastel flowers covered the thin material, and my finger traced the outline. Minutes passed as I waited for his return, then longer. I grabbed my laptop from the glass coffee table to browse through resorts at nearby islands. I had wanted to do this with Amir so that we could choose one together, but he'd yet to come back. Repeatedly I looked up to the door. When more time went by, I stood. Worry engulfed me, and although I wasn't sure why, it led me outside, roaming the halls. knocking on Jess's door. It led me to something I could have never imagined. And that is chapter 4. We'll have chapter 5 to you here shortly.